Hi, this is Shakil Ahmed. In this tutorial, we will discuss about an important question that most of the people ask whether we should rely on the codes in R generated from ChatGPT or other AI-based tools. So the answer to this question is not simple, but I would like to discuss what I know based on my experience and uh, based on my knowledge. Try to show some basic examples where you can use ChatGPT in your data analysis. We have our studio here, and I want to import a data set from my computer. That is, I will just go to browse and then see. For example, I have a data set on heart disease, heart CSV, and open it. So you can just import this data set. So you can see the data set, and you can just copy this code and paste it here. You want to change your name of your data set, but you also need this library read R. So importing data is easy using just the click option, and then you can copy the code for later use. For example, I'm just saving this. So this also tells the directory where this file exists, and the read underscore CSV command is used for importing the data from CSV. So you can just see, for example, head or data. You want to see first five observations. So these are first five observations you can see. And then, for example, you want to do the first and foremost step is to check for the missing values. So you can, if you know what code is used for checking for the missing values, then you can, and you exactly don't remember the codes, then you can just use ChatGPT. And while using ChatGPT, you need to give perfect, basically complete information to ChatGPT. I have a data set, and give the data set name. Want to check the missing values in any of the variables. So it will give you the codes. So you can see, but you have not provided the complete information that you are asking for this data set in R or Python. So it's giving the information in Python first. So you need to just specify, I need this information in R. So it's just giving column sum is dot na heart, or you can use column sum is dot na heart, and you can just check the missing value, count the missing values. So any NA heart you can check for all in all the data set, then you can use this information. So these are all you should know. But in most of the cases, it might be there is no function called any NA in R, or it may require some package. For example, it requires package VIM, this function aggregate. So you don't need to, you should know which this function, how this function works and how this function works. So I know this function. Basically this just provide the number of NS in every column, so I can run it and check. So you can see the missing value pattern here. So the in age we have no missing values, we have no missing values in the data set. So you can, and then you can check missing values, number of missing values greater than 0. So you can check any variable having missing values, number of missing values greater than 0 is that, and miss, and here you can do and miss, and so it will list only those variables who have missing values. So there is no missing value. So this is named numeric as 0. It has no missing values, and none of the variable has missing values. So the problem is resolved. And if we have missing values, then you can replace missing values by certain values. Then you can do it by different variables. For example, if you have categorical variables, you need to deal with missing values differently. And if you have continuous variables, you need to do the check the missing values differently. So you need to, if you are taking help from ChatGPT, you need to write this question differently for categorical variables and what exactly you want to do. You need to just give the feedback what exactly you want. For example, if you want to impute missing values by mean or median in a continuous variable, then you can give this feedback to ChatGPT and ChatGPT will provide you the code. But again, you should know the exact code of how the imputation method is working in background. You should know. Otherwise, don't rely on ChatGPT code generated by ChatGPT. The other most important thing and the very attractive feature which ChatGPT can do is recording the variables. It's always easy and it's a time-consuming task. So it will the ChatGPT does this thing very excellently. I usually used to rely on ChatGPT while recording and labeling variables in my dataset. So, for example, we have age variable and sex variable. So I want to create age variable. I want to create the categories for age variable. So this can you can do in ChatGPT. For example, create a categorical variable for age using thresholds, for example 30. But first I will give this without any information, so it will do automatically what the data says, or what usually people do with age. So this is not specific to your data and your context. So you should give feedback which threshold you are keeping and which are the cut points. And if you want to give the quantile based cut points, then you mention that as well, or percentile based, or you want to make 3 groups, or you want to make 4 groups. And if you want to make a histogram and then based on histogram you want to create groups. So you should know all these informations basically before taking help from ChatGPT. So I will just create a categorical variable for age with no other information. So check what it does. So it's creating by usually people do with 30, 50 and 100. So it's creating just 3 groups based on uh, what usually people do in their analysis. So instead, if I want to ask, I need groups according to quantiles. So now it's creating the quantiles using the break function quantile, and then this is the variable, and these are the probabilities 0 and 25th and 50 and 75 and 1. And then I'm using these quantiles q1, q2, q3. It's giving these are the labels and these are the cut points. So this is the grouping of the variable based on quantiles. So I can just rely on this grouping, and I want to create it here. Then you can, if you want to uh, give different names, for example, you can just change here, but it's the perfect code you can use and you can rely. So let's see. And now you can, for example, first you can create a histogram. And you can just copy this histogram and put in ChatGPT, and then you can ask to create the grouping according to this histogram as well. This is another way to give feedback. You can just give the outputs you have, and you have a list of categories. You can give the frequency distribution of the categories, and you can ask to produce different categories based on what we observed in the dataset. So you can always don't forget to give input as much as you know about the data. Then you can get some reliable codes from the ChatGPT. So, and then if I want to, for example, plot uh, this is the simplest plot, but if you want to create this plot, I want to plot age categories by sex using ggplot. Now it needs library. This is giving step by step. You have first they are labeling the data, male and females. Although it doesn't know that we might have other categories in our data set. So always you can check first. For example, using table command for the sex variable, how many categories you have in your data set. So it has only two categories, so you can it's okay, and this coding is good. They are just labeling the variables male and female, and then library we have ggplot2. We need this library, and you can just copy this here, and then you can just copy this code. But before using this code, you need to just think about each and every element is correct, or you are using, and you know everything about this ggplot. So it's using the dataset heart and aesthetics x age group. Age groups are on as the x-axis. The bars will be created by age groups, and fill with sex, so it will create bar with different sex. And also you can keep the colors as sex, and then the geometry bar position, this is the position you can give, and the title, and it's giving the x-axis title and y-axis title, and then fill as sex. So you can just run this. So there is a warning. We can see the following aesthetics were dropped during statistical transformation fill. This can happen when ggplot fails to infer the correct grouping. So it's not taking the fill category with sex as the fill category. So what we can do? So geometry bar and position is dodge. So the fill is sex, and we can check the sex variable is correctly identified, and age groups, and why it's not coming. So the group variable is basically aesthetic, or to convert a numerical variable. Basically, the sex variable is not a number. I think you can just check. So this is the problem of ChatGPT, as it doesn't know the type of variable as well. So we need to check the type of variables. You can do this structure. So age is column double and sex is also column double. You can just see these are all numeric. So you need to convert sex as you can just write convert sex and age group to vectors. So you can just use this command. As we skip this command, basically you should use these commands before doing your analysis. So it's just converting the sex variable and the age group variable into factors in the same data set. You can also do using the factor and level command using the pipeline package in Tediverse as well. But here we are doing just these two individually. Now it is giving the perfect bar chart with colors, uh, with different things. One, the colors, 0 shows for female and 1 shows for male. So it's giving different fits or different colors. So this is what we can take help from ChatGPT in enhancing code. So if you do, it's difficult to keep these things remember, but you should know what exactly should happen while using these commands. For example, the ggplot, the basic structure of ggplot you should know, and if you come up with anything strange to you, and then you should uh, first confirm the codes from any other source, and then you can run those code in your R session. So similarly, you can record other variables using ChatGPT. This what this does. So this is giving the basically the labels as well, and the label for variable and label for this. Now still there the label for sex is still missing, so we need to use this function as it has already done, but we skipped that. So labels heart sex male and female. So female is 0 and male is 1. So you can do this as well. Now you can see female and male. The reds are female and the green color, I think blue color is the males. So again, you can generate descriptive statistics as well, and the other things, for example, if you are you are generating a variable, for example, generate a variable with same length as uh, the dataset from normal. Now check what it does. So you didn't define the parameters basically, so it's automatically giving in standard normal distribution. Just we are creating a variable within our hard data set. R norm is used for generating random numbers from normal, and the number of observation is taking the number of rows in hard data set, and mean is 0 and standard deviation. So then the ChatGPT is asking a different mean or standard deviation. Are you going to set seed? So then you can, yes, normal with mean 5, variance 0.5, and set seed 1, 2, 3, 5. Now it's giving again the codes. You can see now it needs basically square root. So I was mentioned the variance. So now it's giving uh, the perfect code with set seed command that is used for reproducibility. For example, when someone else is generating your data, and he can generate the same thing while using the set seed command, and then the norm r norm, and then n is n row herd, number of data and mean and standard deviation, and again creating a histogram for this with title this, so you can do this. But again, it's important to give the complete information. And the other thing, the interpretation of the results. So interpretation of the results, for example, you are interpreting a result for a linear regression. So the ChatGPT does not know exactly what the impact of one variable is on the other variable. So you should know the things about the context and about the background and about the application applied field, and then you can definitely take help from ChatGPT, but the final conclusion should be confirmed by an expert. If you are an expert, then you can always rely, but uh, uh, don't take the results or the interpretations created by the ChatGPT as final for your analysis. Uh, this is the main takeaway from today's this session. So if you have any question, you can always write in comment box. This is a very sensitive topic, so I am again saying that don't rely and don't use ChatGPT without knowledge of the domain and without your own knowledge about the topic and the codes. But you can just reduce your labor work, and if you are just taking some idea and you remember the exact code, but you know about the overall structure, then you can always take help for just saving your time. It will do all the structures once, then you can just modify according to your understanding and according to your expertise and according to your knowledge. So that is important for relying on a ChatGPT created codes in R. Thank you.